Oh, welcome to my world. Come on in. Today's Monday, and it's arts and culture, and it's probably one of my favorite topics in my life to my son. It's about balls. So bring your balls. My favorite balls are anywhere from the bowling ball all the way down to the marble. So today it's going to be all about marbles. So welcome to my world. Come on in and let me set my favorite bowling ball down. My name is Colleen Liz Frost. It is Monday's Arts and Cultural Day, and I am on a mission while in remission. And today I have found my marbles. Thank goodness. Let me take a breath. I don't know if some of you have lost your marbles, but little did I know that they would be in my mother's basement. My mother passed away 10 months ago now, and it's like I finally found what my son and I, who lived here for 5 years when he was just 1 year old. I thought, there they are. I found my lost marbles. So I wish my mother would know that I'm so glad I found my marbles. You know, it's day 3 of my new pre-launch of my new business, I Am Rare Presents. I am an author, a playwright, and I am very busy getting ready. And I'm hoping that within this full year to launch my book. And it is exciting. It's on its third edit at my editor's, and hopefully it's bubbling and brewing. And it is quite a story. It's a story about if you only had 1 year. And for me, celebrating history and creating more was done very much on purpose. So I'm hopeful that tonight it will be something good. And I can promise that if you stick around, it's only going to get better. You know, the quote says, I saw an angel in the marble and carved until I set her free. Michelangelo. So marbles go back in history for a long, long time. Now, if you've watched our videos since day 1, I'm building a digital home. It'll be amazing. And it's a place where I'm calling it my digital home. It's an estate filled with all the rare people, places, and voices. I own an opera house in Staples with my twin brother, and for 18 years now, and we've been on a mission while I've been in remission to get our dream finished, and it's getting close. So you'll hear lots of stories about this opera house. But if I go way, way back to when my son was just a year old, that's when we moved in here. I began my happy divorce march to learn my new footing, find my solid ground, and it had to start with marbles. Thank God I found them. Okay, I gotta quit. Now, if you have not watched, that's okay. There's plenty of time, and I will keep repeating these things because I find that the repeating part, that's when I find myself wanting to play. And Monday's Arts and Culture, what a day to play. And thank goodness, because when you're teaching the principles as a coach to your child, and how I was raised, it was to have a balance. And after a whirlwind week like we had last week, you know, it's just nice to get back to arts and culture. And so we have to start with the balls. It's our culture, I think, also just in Minnesota because we're indoors a lot. And in the past, the history of marbles, from the ancient Egyptians, the Greeks, and the Romans, they play with marbles made of stone or polished nuts. Now that's interesting to me, as I do like nuts because they're round like a ball. And what I love about going back to the history of something I love, I find it very fascinating on how it got to here. So what's great about history is look back, find out how we can use it today, and then let's take those good things and move forward. So that's what we do. You know, years ago when you played marbles in America as a young child in the 70s, you know, parents would frown when you lost your marbles. I don't know if you played outside the home with marbles, but you know, it was kind of a common thing in America that the parents would frown when people lost their marbles. Today, I'm just thankful that people are willing to help people who have lost their marbles. Becoming a preservationist, I like to dig up these stories so that my son is well aware that his parenting started very much on purpose at a very young age. And, when I look back at my own history with marbles, I was never allowed to take my marbles to school. Now, that was very much on purpose. So while the kids were playing with their marbles, we didn't have a chance to lose our marbles. She was very protective of those marbles. And but I was blessed with a twin brother. So I had a built-in play date my whole life. And my mother was in constant fear of us swallowing the marbles. Then why did she give it to us so young? She said it's to teach us responsibility and to teach us lessons of life. So when she would crawl on her arms and hands and knees and aim and shoot, she was probably better than us at the beginning, but she taught us the game of marbles. She even built some fun in it, made up games of our own. But if you look online on the Google, there's lots of games with marbles. But my favorite game was down our staircase. That was the one of chance. Why? Because it bounced. We won't talk bouncing today. But here is what I have learned when you find games that you can do with your child. Now, I don't recommend starting marbles at 1. I think you should check with your own principalities and decide what age to give your kids marbles. I was given a year to live, so everything for me had to be sped up. And the first ball you have to give a kid is marbles. So, and why for me with Adam is because they were going to be his, something that he could treasure. So I was my son's minute-to-minute play date and responsible to teach him these principles. So he did begin marbles under my supervision. And here's where the tally-ho stands. Now, these are Adam's or not. And then this is mine or not. According to him, it's reverse. But all I can tell you is never touch the other person's marbles. Leave their marbles alone. That was one of our lessons. So it was kind of fun. But there is an art to balls. Today I just wanted you to help me think about, do you have marbles? Have you lost your marbles? I know you have your marbles somewhere. I want you to go find them and take them out. I challenge you, go find your marbles, because I know all of you have started out your life playing marbles long before we hit the gyms. And think about the things that you learned from your play dates and who you won and lost to. My mother had china cupboards throughout every home she lived in. And my first home was a basement that she put sponges of multicolored and round shapes, cubes and rectangles, and she painted that floor with dots and squares. It was gray with these multicolored rainbows of colors and shapes. And I was just a baby. And then we moved into a trailer house next door to my parents' supper club. And I just remember the joy of the color. So when you find your marbles, what does it remind you of? My mother, and when we were learning the game of marbles, she said, now each marble that you have, that you get to keep, is your very own china cupboard. Like now this one here, these marble ones, these were my favorite. This is my jar. Then we had the Steelies. Who doesn't love silver? Plus it has a little weight to them. So I want you to go find your marbles. And when I see them, I thought I had china cupboards just like my mother. So these are very important to me. And I know my son values his marbles. So I want to know, um, your marble story. Have you lost your marbles? Tell me more. Do you collect marbles? Well, tell me all about it. Do you make marbles? If you make marbles, please tell me how I can come see you make the marbles, because that's one of my things I want to do. I heard about a man in Duluth. Now, I have lived in Minnesota all my life. My mother has these beautiful stories of Duluth, and we've never gone there because we grew up in the restaurant business. We didn't do the vacations. So my dream in running my business like a restaurant, how Mother and I set up my business plan, is to be a traveling cafe. So if you know someone in Duluth that makes those marbles, please tell them about my Mondays. And I want to meet them because I'm cooking up a podcast that you're just going to love. And it's taking time. But when you see what's going to happen on this Club 33 and my map, please get me a marble person for the map. Thank you for letting me share the marble story. You know, the best part about marbles is the marbly part. And when you look at the marble, there is art in that marble. So if you really teach the value of each little marble and how somebody saw what they saw in it, we won't even start about the kaleidoscope, because if you put a marble at the end of, this is what I mean about Minnesota culture, it's the land of 10,000 artists and something about lakes. And our parents' restaurant, we fed more lake people, and I still don't really know what a lake is. So I am an indoor person, but I'm coming out soon. And I just hope to meet all of you. And if I have to stumble upon a lake, I will. But I know that art and culture is my passion. So please tell me your marble stories. And when you see the marbleness of the marble, I hope you think of Michelangelo. And I hope that you can tell the stories of what was put inside your marbles. And remember that as we celebrate our history, I will soon tell you the story. Well, this is my favorite little pouch because now I have a new best friend from London. But this was a gift given to me by my family who travels. But anyway, my house of marbles from London. That's my new prayer pouch. But my son ended up making his own marble pouches and prayer pouches. But when you have your marbles, keep your inventory in your china cupboard. Find your own jar. Go rummage selling, go tootling, go to the closet, go to the basement. They're there somewhere. Or go to your mother's because she'll have a jar. But then take a little pouch, because this is the big thing, to have your own pouch. And reach inside, and I haven't looked in this for a while, but I know there's a marble. I can feel it. This is his very special traveling marble. Keep a marble with you. And for Pete's sake, don't lose your marbles. You can learn so much from the game of marbles. You learn how to build a team, because you can play marbles by yourself, but when you give a kid a ball, that is when you teach the principle of building a team. And I'm glad I had a twin brother growing up, and our teams got bigger with the neighborhood that we grew up in. And you learn how to share, you learn how to care, you learn how to win and lose. But you have to find your marbles. Find your rocks, grab a ball, build a team, look for a feather. Hope is all around. So jump, bounce, and fly with me 7 days on purpose. I will teach it, I will preach it, and repeat it with balance. I hope you like, share, and remember me. And I hope I get out of Facebook jail. I think I'm in there for 30 days. So I can't even share with my friends properly on the messenger or anything for a total of 30 days. So if you have those friends on the Facebook, If you want to share my video, I'm in jail, but I'm having a good time. I'm playing with my marbles. So remember me. Mondays are for those who dare. Be avant-garde, be rare. Sincerely, Colleen.